All right, good morning, everybody. We are live. We're live and alive. Very nice. It's Friday morning. You've made it to the weekend. Give yourself a round of applause. All right, stretch and yawn. Well, you think that's funny, Simphiwe?
Yes.
Stretching and yawning is the best feeling in the whole world. No matter how tired you are, you do that, you feel better straight away. Absolute guarantee. Do it right now. Come on. Try it.
So you just stretch.
Oh.
And like you just have a.
There we go. There we go.
Feels a
See?
bit weird. I don't know if
Okay.
this is that
And
the
you-
secret to anti-aging, Gareth? Is that how we do it? You just stretch and yawn.
Yeah, and you look ridiculous, but it feels fantastic. So what are you going to do? All right. Well, we were up until quite late last night. I don't know what time I got home. It must have been somewhere around 10:30-ish, somewhere around there. And we had a big event at Cliff Central. We've launched this new show, which is invite only for last night. But from the next one on, and we're going to do one a month probably, it's going to be tickets. So you could buy a ticket and be in the audience. And we had a whole lot of people from the press there, and some of our friends, our Cliff Central friends, and it was very cool. It was Eugene Koza and I. Eugene does like a little warm up, and then I interview somebody, and we talk about all the stuff. It's called Uncancelled, and our first guest last night was Unati Gai, who's just absolutely fantastic. I mean, everybody seems to have loved her to pieces. So it was really, really fun. I had a great time. Normally, I would be grumpy about these kinds of things, and I would have hated it. But I actually had a lot of fun. And I was driving in yesterday afternoon, and I was so excited about it. And I think it's really, there isn't a lot of that kind of thing going on at the moment. Nobody's doing this kind of in inverted commas content, because people are creating content, but a lot of it is the content of a rubbish bin. So I was very happy to sit there with someone who's got stuff to say, who's got stories, who thinks deeply about the world, who has, a kind of a bunch of things that have happened to her in life, which I think are really helpful for the rest of us to hear about. And she's funny, and she's beautiful, and she's a really cool person to listen to. And it was fun. I mean, what did you think?
I loved every single minute. Like, this is me being like now a fangirl, just of like how the conversation went. And to quote Eugene, it is adult conversations that we get to kind of just eavesdrop on. Like, and I think that's the beauty of it. It was just like you and a friend having like this candid conversation, and I got to listen, and I was like, ha! Yes, and I can't
Cool.
oh, is this what I can expect when I'm a bit older? Oh, you also go through it. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
And there was a whole lot of gems just like dropped. And if this is how it's starting, Gareth, if this is the first one, yes, the standard is high. And yeah, so everybody should come to the next one because it's absolutely worth it. Like I don't fangirl over a lot of things, but this one did the right
Well,
things. Next time we host, pull up.
I'm excited to hear that, and I can't wait for the next one either. We're going to get some really, really good guests. We're going to talk to some fantastic and fascinating people. I think it's going to be amazing, and not just local people, but international ones too. And part of it is just having fun, but part of it is also really getting to the good shit with everybody, real conversations, the stuff that you have with your very best friends, the stuff that you kind of wish that you could put in a time capsule and save for the future, which is what Eugene was saying he thinks podcasts are. Anyway, it's No Politics Friday today, and we're very excited about that because who the hell wants to talk any more about ESCOM and ministers and all that shit? So we can put that away for another few days, enjoy our weekend, and then we'll get back to it on Monday. What are we going to do about it anyway, right? I woke up to this, which is not really to do with politics, but worries me just a little bit. Dear people, note the following communication regarding vandalism on Rand Water's network that impacts on delivery of both the supply networks to you. This may impact on reservoir levels, especially ahead of 30-hour shutdowns from tomorrow to Saturday. Please encourage residents to use water sparingly. So I don't know. I might be showering at the gym this week. Who knows? So all it comes, but you know, you got to get ready for that stuff. I suppose. Yeah. Who wants to have that to worry about when you wake up in the morning? You could also watch the Gareth Cliff Show now on TikTok, and we're going to be implementing something brand new from Monday. I'm going to test it out with the guys a bit later on, but we will be doing live phone calls on the show, which will start soon.
Yay!
Yeah, about time we got back to that, right?
Yes, like I love hearing the people's voices, the voice notes. But like there's something when somebody just like after Gareth has said something and they're just like, hey, wait, whoa, Chief, what are you saying? Let me come at you. Or they're like, oh, Labang, you think you had something there? Let me come at you.
Right.
So I love for those moments where I was like, oh, whoa, you thought you said something? Whoa.
Simphiwe, are you sure your laptop is going through the mic? Because I think it's somehow picking up your laptop microphone.
It is. I just like double check the settings. So we go to audio. I've done this before. Roadcaster.
Ryan, figure that out because it sounds like she's talking through a tin can. It sounds like she's a caller.
Oh, hello, Gareth. I'm calling from Mayorsdale. I just want to thank you very much for doing the show this morning, and I want to dedicate a song to my brother Quibble, who is just getting married this weekend to his fourth wife, and she's pregnant with his third child. Yes, they started an affair during his second marriage. Yes, very exciting. Quibbers, have a wonderful day. Thanks. Bye-bye.
That's what we're talking about. But we're going to be doing those calls live, so I'm very excited about it. And there are lots of people who in the comments have been a part of like I would call it the VVIP section of what we've been doing for the last 9 years. But it's always better to hear a voice. And once you hear a voice, there's personality involved, there's tone, there's something special that goes on there, which I love. So we're going to sort that out. Someone says here, Simphiwe sounds like she's in the loo. Is that right? Are we in the loo? Is that where you've been the whole time, Simphiwe? Because people heard this and they're like, oh, okay. Nice of her to join us this morning. All right, while we're waiting for them to get all sorted out over there, there's a lot to get to today. We got Ben joining us a little bit later on. We're going to look at some news headlines. And then we're going to have Mumsy later on, who's a comedian. Always like having a comedian in on a Friday. They're usually a lot of fun. And when they do join us, they usually talk a whole lot of smack about everything, which I like. But yeah, get ready, because as soon as Monday breaks, we're going to be doing live calls, which means you can direct the show in ways that you haven't up to now. It's very cool. It's very exciting. And it's taking place as we speak. I've figured out how to do it, whether I'm here or I'm at the studio or wherever. So we're going to be doing that from early next week. Looking forward to that. Tracy says, phone calls. We get your phone calls. We get your phone calls every day, as long as we don't get Auntie Merle to phone in for a dedication. No, don't worry. Having phone calls means I will be able to drop phone calls as well. So I'll be able to get rid of phone calls that we don't want. So this works out perfectly for everybody. Isn't that great? I think it's fantastic.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that is good. Oh, that's good. All right, let's see if we can get Simphiwe back up on here. Are you on? You connected
Testing
yet?
1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? Oh, do I sound good?
What the hell was going on there? It was I thought, oh wow, we built this studio and it sounds like shit.
No, I don't know. So ever since I've left the role of technical producer, I just walk in here and I'm like, I'm a star, Ryan. I just want to sit on the chair and just like look pretty. And so I don't know what happened.
I know you see, Simphiwe, you leave the role of technical producer and it all falls apart.
I know, and I'm just like, I'm not even trying to figure. I'm like, I rest my hands. Can somebody else deal with the stress?
Okay, so we got lots to talk about because you and Ryan have some complaint about something that you've seen in a restaurant lately. Now, what is this all about?
Is coming to an end. Repent, guys. Jesus is coming back, because in 2023, why are they vape vending machines?
Oh,
Why?
we have
Like,
only just. Are you kidding? These have been out for a while now. Is this the first time you've seen them?
yes. Well, Ryan
No.
showed me a picture. There's like one by this dodgy restaurant by Four Ways. And I was just like, what the hell? The world is coming to look at the 140 for a vape.
Yeah.
140 that you can just oops.
Yep. Well, you think about it. This is not so unusual. Okay, so I've been to a few places, not just dodgy places. They have this at Greenhouse in Santon as well. There's this very sexy looking machine. You go up to it, you put your credit card on it, it takes the money, drops out a vape. I got some friends who smoke these things. And they love it because you don't have to buy it before you go out. You have to go to. What's the difference, Simphiwe, between buying it at the garage or buying it in the bar or club or restaurant that you're at? What's the difference?
A whole vape,
You,
like a vending machine for vapes. I don't know. I think
yes.
that's a bit team too much. Um, yeah, like this for me is just like, no, the world is coming to an end. Like we've just normalized this thing of just like letting people just buy chemicals and just smoking and it's
Oh,
okay.
please.
What?
So what's the difference? What's the difference between that and ordering a drink at the bar in the same place? What's the difference? No difference. It's exactly the same. Do you
So
really
I'm
find
just
this
like the
weird?
only one. Yes, I do. Like I'm just like, I mean, or maybe I'm just a bit old school where I'm like vending machines are just for food. Like like imagine if we had like a vending machine now for like alcohol, I'd still lose my mind.
I think there are
That's not.
places in the world. There are places in the world where you can get a vending machine from an alcohol. Alcohol from a vending machine. Oh my god, alcohol from a
Amazing.
vending machine.
It's ridiculous. Even just saying it, Gareth. What? I'm shocked.
So what?
Okay. Then clearly
Why
the
the?
bubble I was living in has been pricked, and I'm just realizing how like like I knew the world was damaged, but now I'm like we're too far gone, and yeah, like just the world's coming to an end, guys. Just repent.
I see a lot of people in the comments that are very anti people who smoke vapes. I mean, this is the millennials have officially taken over our society. Lovely lady Lee says those are for our teenage kids. It's so sad. Good morning, hoes and bros, says Yonder. The world is coming to an end. That's people think that's quite a statement from ancient ether. He says, "Wow, some god." One makes you look stupid, the other one makes you act stupid. And Slippery Pickle says, "Spit it out your mouth and smoke like a real man." That's what Mr. T would say. Listen, we don't know that these vapes are better or worse than cigarettes. We don't. It hasn't been long enough that we've been doing these. And you're going to die from something. If someone wants to smoke a vape, I don't see how that's any worse than the people who are getting hammered on alcohol at the bar, or the people who are overeating at the restaurant, or the people who are smoking cigarettes. Frankly, I don't see how it's any worse. I don't know how I think you guys are being a bit apocalyptic and dystopian about something as stupid as a vape. And don't tell me you have evidence that vapes are worse, or because we know that evidence does not exist yet. If it is a problem, we'll find out in 30 years when people start dropping dead. But until then, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, just a quick one to Mash. Mash, in 30 years' time, let us know how you're doing, bruv, because he's definitely on that vape vibes. And yes, he vapes all the time, like every chance he gets when he's not in front of Lebang, because Lebang is very like, hey, don't do that. Like, we're not about that. She'll send him links to articles just telling him how
Oh,
dangerous vapes are. And he kind of just he hides it. And last week when we went to the ad event, someone's like, he took out his vape, and then someone's like, "Oh, that's so old school. You need to now personalize it." And I was like, "This is a cult now. This we are personalizing vapes." No, 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 no.
Eminem heard us saying vape and thought we were talking about dating machine, like as in a machine that you. So obviously that's a dangerous one. But Venetia says she's actually seen a vending machine for medicine at her local garage. So, you need headache tablets, go to the vending machine. I don't see why not.
I've seen that as well. Not too, I don't know. But I'm a bit more outraged with vapes.
You're outraged. This is incredible. I can't believe that it upsets you. And how does Ryan feel about this? Because he's the one who was at this place. He thinks
He
it's
was
quite a
trying
big
to
deal.
defend it. I was just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What place is this? Because I don't have this in the East Rand. And I was like, you see West Rand things. And he's like, oh no, this was by Four Ways. I was like, just as bad. Like it's
Yeah.
one of the same thing. Four Ways and the West Rand. Guys, just group it all together. So I was just like, the places you go to, dodgy.
Nell Silva says in Japan you can buy dildos and pizza from vending machines. Yep. Yeah, you can. Nico says just choose your poison and carry on. Fuck the rest. I'm with you. Carte Blanche. Ooh, Carte Blanche had an episode on vapes. That must mean, you see, if you're on Carte Blanche, it must mean you're bad, right?
Yes. So
Yeah.
whatever they said, whatever they found, I believe it is true. So stop vaping.
Yeah. I really don't see the fuss about these things. I mean, to me, they've got X number of puffs on them. I've tried a vape. What I find is much better about them, first and foremost, I'm not going to become a vape smoker. Don't worry about that.
Mhm.
But friends of mine who smoke them, at least it smells good. Like a cigarette smells disgusting. Cigarette smoke is bad. It sticks to your clothes. You feel like you've been smoking when you get home. You need to shower. Your hair smells like cigarettes. But the vape, it smells good.
Oh, yes,
Some of
with
it
all the
smells
different
like
flavors. And
grape
I'm just always like,
watermelon and mint. And I mean, that's a good smell. I don't have a problem with that.
oh
Right?
yes, I think this is why I don't complain when mash like vapes around me because I'm like, this smells good.
Right.
But in the back of my mind, I'm just like, I also want to pour a labang right now and be like, are you really vaping? Because I do that with like people that smoke on some, are you really smoking? Is this you? Like, is this what you do? So I guess it's that it smells good, so I don't think we complain as much. But I'm also like, this is not good for you though. This is just chemicals. Get chemicals on chemicals on chemicals.
Well, Peter says drawing any kind of smoke into your body can't be healthy. Well, what's also unhealthy is like bushfires and carbon monoxide from cars and, that kind of shit. That also is very bad for you. But something's going to get you. Something will get you. No one is going to make it all the way to the end. It's a zero-sum game, I'm afraid. Jamison says, at least if you vape, there's no smell. That was a very good point. And then Ancient Ether's climbing in here to lovely lady Lee's comment, says, oh, carte blanche. That show is nothing but negative. Carte blanche interviewing 17-year-old addicts is hilarious, though. Those kids definitely got laid after the interview. Okay, well, you're still watching. You're still watching that show, Ancient Ether.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Carte Blanche for years. God bless them. They've done a lot of good work over the years, but I don't want to hear that stuff anymore. I really don't.
It's just so negative.
No, sure. And you can't hide your head in the sand. I mean, that's why we do the burning platform and everything else. But on a Sundays are hard enough. You got to go to work the next day. Your weekend is over. You're probably either really tired or lazy or both. And you have to then turn this on and be, no, this isn't working. That's not going so well. Let me tell you why the country's a fuck up. Not on a Sunday. Sorry. Don't have any strength for that. There is nothing
what they say. Sundays are for lovers. So you can just imagine you're just there with your boo thing. It's all nice. And then the TV is on. And then, oops, just bad news. Like, it just ruins the mood. You're just like, you know what? I'm done.
Well, Cheryl says there's nothing worse than driving behind a buff of smoke. In the old days, you used to think it was a hot box full of weed. Now it's a vaping car. Surely is at risk while driving. Yeah, I mean, listen, I've seen these cars where, honestly, the people let down the window this much, like an inch or two, and the smoke billows out of their car. And you're like, how do you even see between your eyes and the windscreen if your car's so full of vape smoke? It's a weird thing. It's almost like people are addicted to the look of the smoke rather than the vaping. Very weird. This is interesting. Zanella says, I find my throat itches more from vape smoking than from cigarettes. Ancient Ether joining back in. McDonald's is more unhealthy than smoking. It's proven fact that vaping causes bad lungs quicker than cigarettes. Is it? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I think the jury's still out on this one. Really. Congo Chris agreeing with me here, basically saying carte blanche, or as he puts, carte blanche, used to be about hard-hitting journalism. Now it's a limp noodle parody of its former self. Boom. Some serious criticism there. What are your plans for the weekend, Simphiwe? What are you doing?
Oh, this weekend I plan on celebrating with a friend. He recently turned a year older this week, so we are going to celebrate. We're going to have fun. We're going to just be reckless and not even count the calories. That's what we're doing this weekend. Yes.
Yeah, good. You need to. Everybody needs a pressure release. That's the whole thing. I'm excited about doing calls from Monday. I can't wait to try this. So make sure that we'll obviously put the number up and let you know so you can join in. I can't wait to see who that first call is going to be. That's going to be fun.
And what they have to say, because that's always the intriguing part. It's always what they have to say. It's like, what are you going to say? But what are you getting up to, Gareth, this weekend?
Oh, I actually have a very easy schedule. May go out for dinner on Saturday, and that's about it. I don't have any other plans, which is good. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do something. Maybe I won't. To me, that's the best thing. If you can still make up your mind before you get there. So I just got this from somebody. Vaping undoubtedly is healthier than smoking overall. It's not healthy, but if you're choosing one, choose the vape. And that's from someone. That's from someone I actually trust on this matter. I'd go along with that. Also, why would you want to make everyone smell of tobacco smoke, like we said earlier? So we'll close off the vaping discussion, but I cannot believe that you are so outraged and incensed that there are vending machines for this. There are vending machines now for almost everything.
I think this is just me being like naive, Gareth, about the world. Just like I know that there's like everything and everything out there. But then when you see it with your own two eyes and you're just like, what? So this is really out there. Like these are the times we're living in. Shucks. It's bad.
Yeah. We must ask what you are giving up for Lent, Gareth. What am I giving up for Lent? First of all, I don't do that whole Lent thing. I'm not a Catholic. I think the idea, though, is quite a good one. It's like you give up a bad habit, or you give up something that you shouldn't be doing, or you give up something that you are too attached to. And I don't think that it's a bad idea for us to test ourselves. I must go through a list of things that I do that irritate me. There's a lot. And maybe I'll give one of those up. When does Lent start? Maybe you can fill us in, Wens. Let us know when. I think it's like a month.
It's a month. Okay. So is it just before Easter? I know it has something to do with Easter or something like that. So
I think it ends at Easter. I'm not sure.
Oh,
but if you know. Yeah. Here, this is an interesting point. Just going back to the vape thing. Steve says vaping is easier on my lungs after 35 years of ciggies. You see, I would rather that the smokers, and this includes like my parents, I've even tried with them. I'd prefer that the smokers went off the cigarettes and onto the vapes. But again, it's a matter of taste, and not everybody's going to agree with me.
That one makes sense, because it's like you've already messed up your lungs. So just, pick a different poison. But for some of us who just like, I feel like if you're just going to start with dabbling in hubs and vapes and cigarettes, and it's just like, don't do it. Just don't do it. You don't need it. I promise you. Like, you don't need that.
Yeah. I mean,
you really
for me,
don't.
So a friend of mine, she's very into her hubs. And whenever I'm around her, I'll smoke the hub with her. But usually for me, it's just a social thing. So I'm not interested in that. If I'm not around people, I would never smoke a hub on my own. Right. But I think it's a fun thing to do. So apparently, Wednesday was the start. Here we go. Venetia says Lent started on Wednesday and it lasts until Good Friday, which is what, the first week of April?
Usually, most times.
Yeah. So that's a long time. It's longer than a month. So what should we give up? I mean, what do you think your bad things are? What would you like to give up? Anything?
Oh, that's a good question,
No,
Gareth.
not-
I think like as so as someone who started off the year fasting, I had given up basically food. So that was like that's always a big one.
Yeah.
You kind of like detoxing from December and now getting into like the rhythm and this year being healthy, not even trying like getting on that health bag wagon. I've kind of cut down on my sugar. So that's already the first thing that I'm letting go. So I'm just like what else? I'm not sure if I'm ready to give up anything else because I feel like I've already started just like
Maybe I'll try something really revolutionary. Like I'll try and not use foul language. It might be worth a
let's be
try. I mean,
realistic. That's
I can do that.
is that
I promise you. Please, I used to do a radio show every day for 3 hours, and I never was able to swear until we
but that's
started this.
3 hours, Gareth. Now we're talking about 24 hours, the whole day. This is not
I can
a
try. I think I can do it. You know how if you like when you set your brain, like let's say you're talking to someone much older than you, who you have a lot of respect for, and you think they may be a little bit more conservative, you can instantly switch on that part of your brain, and then you do. You sound you sound a lot more respectful. You don't use foul language. I can do that. You can switch
I
your
give
brain
you
on.
that. I'm not
I
even
think it's
disputing that. But it's moments when you're driving in traffic and you're on your own and then somebody just
Oh.
swerves in front of you and you're just like, fuck it out, what's wrong with you? Like you see, or you having a late morning and you're just like, oh, what the fuck?
Mm.
I think it's those moments that are much more
Anger.
tricky and harder. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I find swearing is an anger release. But maybe I should follow this advice. I mean, I'm certainly not doing this for religious reasons, but maybe for Lent I'll give up coffee. That's what Nell Silver says. Maybe I'll try and get rid of that for a month. Just see if I can, just it's just to prove to yourself you can do it. Hey Ben,
Hi guys.
Hello.
what's up?
Yeah, good.
We
you
were just
know.
talking.
Friday. Yeah.
We were just talking. Wen said to me, "What are you giving up for Lent?" And I said to her, "Well, I'm not, I'm not some kind of religious Catholic or anything, so I didn't even know what Lent was. But if you had to give anything up, what would you give up?"
Giving up voting for the ANC. Oh wait, I didn't do that. That'd be fucking stupid to start with.
It's no politics Friday, Ben. Come on.
It's a tough one, Gareth, because I feel like I always give things away I don't need, and I kind of stop things that don't really serve me that well, and that's just been what I've been trying to do for the last few years. Sure, like I always try to add things, but to give up.
But
I'm definitely swearing. I'm definitely drinking coffee. Those are two things. I'm
all right. Okay. So I don't know if you guys saw, but they've come out with a new violent language list. And I cannot tell you how stupid this is. But for example, people used to say we're going to have to pull the trigger on this. Like you're about to launch a campaign or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So now people say, no, you rather instead of, I love it when people who are not you tell you what to say. Like if I'm going to give up swearing, it must be on my terms, right? Not on anyone else's.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a list of things that they say, evolving from violent language. Because of course, this is what people want us to do is dumb ourselves down to the point where nothing really means anything. Everything is so soft that you never really understand what someone's after, what they really want. So instead of saying we're going to pull the trigger, you say we're going to launch. I'll take a stab at it, which means I'll try that. You're now meant to say, I'll take the what? What did it say?
The first pass, I think.
Oh, I'll take the first pass at this. I mean, how boring is that? I'll take a stab at that's much better. Did we jump the gun? Now, how's that violent? Jumping the gun. That's just a figure of speech. Anyway, jump the gun is out.
The gun starts a race. We used to anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Did we start too soon? Is what you must say. Now, I would love to meet. I would love to meet one of the people who gets their tits into a tangle about language like "let's not jump the gun." I mean, why this irritates me, I don't know. I think it's just because people have become so like watered down, and they're so. I mean, obviously, most of us are not, but it bothers me that this shit's coming out of America at the moment, where now you can't have a gun emoji on your phone because God forbid it's like you spreading violence. It's got to be some real, like, coddled, safety and security concerned HR person in the United States who's doing this stuff. Who would make people do this? Who would use this language? And why are they telling us?
It's the wokes, guys. It's the wokes. They make everything terrible in life. I'm giving up all faith that woke is actually a culture. That's what I'm giving up.
But it is a culture, and I'm afraid in companies, there are some companies that will be implementing these things. You know?
That's not a bad idea. That's a good idea. That's lies right there. that is lies.
That's the one I just saw now. So you're not meant to say that's not a bad idea. I mean, it's saying to somebody, you know, that's not a bad idea. You must say, that's a good idea. It's like nursery school. What is this shit? Drives me crazy. Ben, what the hell are you doing back there? Have you built a new room in your house?
No, I've got a house key situation. Can I get back to you in like 2 minutes?
What, are you locked out of your own house?
Long, boring story. Give me 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Is that even your house, Ben? Whose house are you at? With who?
Actually, it's not a bad looking room as a studio. It looks quite cool. Got a whole lot of sports equipment on the back wall. It's got this cool red and white paint. There's a microphone stand. I think Ben's lying. He's building his own studio. All right, so let's get on to some other good stuff here. Simphiwe, apparently you're being hit on by men, but they're asking for your email address and not your number. What do you think that's all about?
I don't know. And it's confusing me, Gareth. I've been single for quite some time. And I'm not...
getting to that. I mean, you haven't given up completely.
Yeah, no, like I'm still in the dating market. I'm still like mingling with other guys. And so this year, 2023, this is a new thing. Like guys will come up to me, hey, you good looking, da 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 da. They spill their lies. And then instead of like either asking for my number, they say they'll give you the world, they want to do this, it's just lies, things that I've heard before. But we entertain it, Gareth, because why? We think he might be the decent oak. So cool. Then instead of usually asking for my number or social media handle, they're like, hi, can I get your email address?
What do you think what are they after your email address for? They want to like Nigerian scam you?
I don't know. And then you know what the weird thing is? I'm like, you know what? Okay, let's try this. Maybe this is going to be the ultimate love story. I give the email address and I get an email with the subject line, love at first sight. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And it's like, hi, it was nice meeting you. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing email. Like, so
I love this. I love this. Very weird. They're off you. Next thing they'll be saying, hey, girl, you look very pretty. Would you like to give me your bank details? So weird. Look at this.
I don't know. Is this a new dating trend that I don't know about? Is this what men are doing in 2023? Please educate me so that I can be equipped, guys, because this has taken me like a bit like, what? Oh, sir.
I love this. We've got to ask Ben about this. A whole lot of people are guessing why they think that he's got a key problem for his house this morning. Yonder says, Ben was busy last night. His morning run was definitely on a different path this morning. Some people are saying that they think that there's a woman at Ben's house that he's got to let out, but he's lost the key. Yeah, I think Ben has got some nookie and she left to go to work, and now he's trapped in her house. There's a woman who needs the keys to leave. It's according to Tabo. I love this. We'll ask him. Don't worry. We won't let him get off scot-free on this one. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, there was a good question back here. I love these would you rathers. So John Bad Dog says, let's put you on the spot, Gareth. Would you rather sleep with the oldest woman in the world or the hottest trans woman? That's a tough one. I mean, I'd have to see them. I'd really have to see them. I'm that superficial. I gotta say, like, you see, if you know what you're in for, you know you're in for the oldest woman in the world, or you know you're in for a trans woman. That's a tough decision. But I've got to say, well, is it? Because I mean, there are really worse.
Yeah, but the old woman is like, is it not just bones, skin and bones now? Like I've seen the oldest man, and
sure, it's horrible. But let me ask you this: if it's the hottest trans woman, at least you know, because there's something. I've heard stories of guys like who go off to Thailand or whatever, and they don't know it's a girl. Now that's, to me, that's much worse. They don't know it's a guy. Sorry. So then they with a, and I know this is upsetting the trans community, all three of them, but it's worse to be surprised. At least if you know what you're in for, like you can either commit or you can say, well, I'm just gonna have to, if this is like a gun to the head thing, suppose you deal with it. Right?
yes.
It's making me sneeze. It's making me sneeze.
I'm a bit taken aback by Ben, and he's in a car now.
Now Ben's in a car.
This is going so badly. This is going.
What are you doing?
Badly.
What happened?
I apologize.
Okay, you have to tell us the story now. People are already speculating. Come on, what's happening?
Guys, it's quite a long story. I don't know if this is the time for it. Let's fuck, just give it a pass.
We want to hear. Go.
So I don't live alone anymore, and now I have a key issue where knows where the other set of keys is, but I have a set of keys, and now we have people that are both locked in the garage area and the apartments. And I mean, people have to get on with their lives, and I am the only person that can make access at this current point. So,
hang on.
Sorry, I've gone from my studio to now going home.
Okay, but Ben, how many people are at your house? What were you doing? I mean, it sounds like there's a whole collection of people there on a Friday morning. What's this all about?
Well, there's someone who's about to do incredible work in my kitchen, and then there's the person I live with now.
You're living with somebody now. Is it a woman?
Jeez,
is it a man?
That's nice.
It's not a sheep, is it?
No, Gareth, it's definitely not a sheep. It's actually a very see. This is, I don't want to bring up this kind of story because this is going very deep into my life. But
oh boy.
I mean, here we are, obviously. So I've basically living with my life partner, who is Daniela, and I've come to realize that the last sort of 6 months.
Jesus, Ben, this is good. This is good.
Well, wow. I mean, look, it's a bit of a thing to just throw back into the mix on a Friday. So I mean, look, we've been spending quite a lot of time together, and then it just happens that we now live together, which now means I have 3 cats, not just 2. 3 cats, 1 house person, life partner, 1 set of keys. Fuck knows where the other ones are.
I like this.
And this is kind of where we're at right now. And I'm driving down Grayston.
Don't you feel better now that you're not keeping secrets from us, Ben?
I don't ever want to keep secrets. I also find that my life isn't that interesting. So
what?
No, not to me. Sounds to me like it's a hell of a lot more interesting. It's more interesting in mine and Simphiwe's, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, so the last 2 weeks has been about going from living in an apartment that kind of looks like a guy who just lives by himself and maybe you should try harder. My apartment now looks like it's actually something worth living in. It's beautiful. Like I haven't had a female influence 4 years of living.
I know it started to look like all you did was watch sport, braai, and exercise. That's your apartment kind of, that was the stipulated intent of your apartment before. I've been there.
Yeah, so it was very Spartan. Like I was very Spartan. Now I'm all balanced. So now I'm just kind of better here. I'm in a better spot. I'm healthier. I think I'm, as I say, more balanced.
I like this.
It just feels like a very good step in my life right now. It feels very natural.
Good.
But
dude, I think this is awesome.
The absolute difficult thing is now the 3 cat situation.
Why? Do they not like each other?
Well, cats are dicks, Gareth. Didn't you know this? Yeah. Cats will basically just be absolute dicks about things. And so Daniela's got a cat, which is a different story altogether for a different day. I don't want to drop too many bombshells in one thing.
Yeah.
Apparently she's found the keys. So now I'm just fucking turning back and driving in circles. Sorry.
Yeah.
And now I'm just.
You know, you can just pull over, Ben, and not have to drive and be on the.
Wow.
I need to go somewhere where I get better Wi-Fi, because right now I'm just running on whatever I'm doing. So yeah, she's got.
I'll tell you something. This is the best broadcast quality we've ever had from you. You driving your car sounds better. Yeah, it sounds better and looks better than anything we've done in a studio.
That's amazing. I mean,
That's good.
Yeah, so it's actually quite interesting. So now with the whole 3 cat situation.
No, just as I said that, isn't that?
We spoke too soon.
Oh,
We
Jesus.
texted right then.
He's back here.
So-
Sorry,
so-
just as I said that we've had a good signal from you, then it cut out. Obviously.
Yeah. So Meows's is old, and she probably doesn't want to fight. So Daniela's cat's bigger than her. So they actually get along pretty well. And Daniela's cat's quite sweet. But then Hopkins is like, I'm losing you.
No, I just don't care about the cats at this point.
No, it's a funny story. You gotta. It gets to a funny part.
No, I'll tell you what's the. No, just hold on a second.
Story.
Let us just take it all in here. This is quite a big deal.
It's a lot.
I've got to agree with Basitsana here. She says, and I think some of these people have been listening to you for a while. They've got some good handle on what you are. Yeah, no, Ben, this is good news, says Basitsana. You were miserable. Yeah, look at you. It's like you've sprung to life. This is very, very cool.
I was miserable. Wow. Yeah. Well, like I'm not gonna worry about the past. I'm not really worrying about the past. Just like putting step by step together currently. And,
let me ask you this. Hold on. Let me ask you this. If you hadn't had this situation with the keys and people being locked in or locked out this morning, when were you going to tell us?
I don't know. Probably in the next week or two. It just wouldn't have come up in conversation until now.
I like this because I did see you went on a beautiful weekend away, which you told us about last Friday.
Yeah, that was amazing. And the thing is, like, we just traveled so well together. It's the only person I actually really want to travel with. And we went to this, such an amazing weekend last weekend.
Where did you go?
Last month as well.
You posted some pictures on Instagram of this place, and it looks absolutely stunning. Where is it?
Machuba's Kloof. So basically, just under 4 hours. And it's such a magical place. Like, you got to drive through Polokwane to get there, and that's become a bit of a toilet. But Machuba's Kloof is just, you're up in the hills. It's just so absolutely magical. There's like forests, and then we stayed in this cabin basically inside of a little forest. And there were horses, there were dogs, there was a lake, and then there was a brewery you can go through on top of this jungle road.
Just hang on. Did you just go through a pothole because your whole car shook so violently?
This is such a morning.
It was a pothole traffic bump combination.
I'm enjoying this. It's like we're going on a tour of Johannesburg with Ben and learning all the most interesting things in one morning. I love it.
Yeah, guys. So if you've never been to Machuba's Kloof, like I hadn't prior, you've got to go. It is absolutely beautiful. Whether it's a romantic weekend, whether you like riding mountain bikes or whatever you do, it was one of my most enjoyable weekends. But yeah, and then I'm going to Kruger in 2 weeks' time. And now that I have someone to travel with, we actually can double date stuff. So
there he goes. All
As
right.
the tea was being spilled.
I'm happy. Honestly, Ben has given us such value already. I'm happy to let him drive through potholes for the rest of the morning and sort out his key situation. I think he's done us an enormous amount of content service this morning. I don't think we need to pressure Ben anymore. I think he's done the work. Huh? What do you think, Simphiwe?
Yes, I mean, he's just been dropping bombshell after bombshell, and we're not upset. We are not upset with the fact that, he's kept this secret for 2 weeks now?
I'm not I'm not even upset. Ben, we're going to let you go. Don't even stress. Get on with your morning. Right. I don't know if he can hear us. Anyway, we'll tell him. Oh, there he is. Okay, hang on. Wait, he's back. All right. So listen, you've given us all the juice this morning. We don't need you anymore. And,
No,
get
I'm still here. I'm just getting back to the office where there's going to be stable connection.
okay.
Okay.
I'll show you my office.
This is commitment. Like
trying, like forging through here.
This may be Ben's best appearance on the show so far.
yes.
And now you've seen my car. It's very small, compact.
It's very
you don't-
clean. Like
I like
that.
It's actually not, but thank you.
Oh.
Gonna get it clean tomorrow.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get all my
So
stuff.
do you want to take us on this experience? You know, as vloggers would do, they'd be like, okay, guys, well, I'm getting out the car. I've just arrived at the office. And this is what you can see. This is the south view that I usually have at like 8 o'clock. You know, just give us a bit of an influencer moment, Ben.
Go. Do it properly, Ben.
So apparently
Right.
the keys aren't found. I've just gone halfway back to come halfway back.
What a morning.
You must give up
Listen.
on this key situation.
No, Ben, we're gonna let you go. Don't panic. Go and sort out your stuff.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Let's let him go.
All
right.
Okay. I might be back in like 10 minutes. All right.
All right.
Bye. Ben.
Okay. There we go. What a way to start your day. You know when you have those
Yeah.
days, and we've all had them, right? I mean, we'll get into like exactly what Ben has left us with a lot to think about this morning. But you know those days where you start, every robot is red. You realize your car's almost empty. You realize that you didn't bring your phone. You left that at home. You're running late for a meeting. You have to fetch something from somebody. You've woken up. You didn't remember to pack something that you needed. Everything that could possibly go wrong goes wrong. You know those days.
Yes. Oh, yes. And it happens on the worst day possible where you're like, I have a very big meeting at 10 o'clock. I need to show out and just be at my best form. And that day is the day Satan is just like, let me test you. You wake up at like 9:30 and you're like, what the hell? You're trying to get things on. You are scrambling. You get there huffing and puffing. And it's just like one of those where you're like,
let's call that Satan Day. That's what it is.
yes. When Satan
All right,
just tries you.
Thurence says, you got to give it to Ben, such determination.
Mhm.
I'm ripped, says Kalpana. Ben made my morning. Diolinda says, the most hilarious show ever. This is good. This is good. Ben, you're still smiling and so calm. You see, that is also what being in a healthy, decent relationship can do for people. And no relationship's perfect, but it's better if you are the sort of person who wants to be in that situation, who wants to be with somebody, and you find your person, and maybe you lose that person during the course of your life, and then you re-find that person. I think that's magnificent, because that really is like, you know what? It didn't work but we're gonna do this, and then you find out that the reasons that you went through some trouble before you can overcome because you're a little bit older and a little bit wiser. I think that's amazing. All right. I love that. And McGowan says, ooh, Ben, you've made my morning. So there we go. Ben adding value today, as we didn't expect. I mean, he had a whole lot of things he wanted to talk about, but we didn't even get to any of that because he's busy trying to find keys and sounds like he said, you heard what he said there, like the apartment looks nice, it smells nice. Again, because there's a female influence in there. This is good. This is very good.
You know, like I like this one. Like I like this look for Ben. It's like, this is nice.
Someone did say a little earlier on, but Jane is going to have something to say about this because she always had something to say about Ben and Daniela. Now she's going to find out they're back together. She's going to lose her mind. Anyway, we should definitely get Jane on the show next week to tell her, but don't say anything to her before then. All right.
So don't ruin it.
Yeah. In other words, we want to see her reaction live, and maybe we'll test out this new phone call thing that we're going to be doing by testing it with Jane. I'm going to phone her and say, Mum Jane, we just want to tell you something about someone who works with us, and then you can hear her reaction, which will be more interesting than anything else. Anyway, The lessons here are to get your girl back and get ripped, says Clint from the Val. Well, yeah, I don't see how either of those things could be bad.
Mhm.
Sharon says that was really entertaining. I love it. Sure, that's what we're here for. And yeah, we've got lots of good stuff on the way still. So, I mean, we've got Mumsy, who's a comedian, who's going to join us a little bit later. We've got George Mienie. He's also going to join us later. Of course, George, on a Friday means that your weekend has truly begun. And as I said, we did a very cool new event, a new show that we launched yesterday on Cliff Central, which we'll be giving it to you to hear and watch. I interviewed Unati Nkai, and I haven't caught up with her. There were a lot of updates from Unati on her life about employment stuff. She's in a legal battle with somebody. She spoke very candidly about divorce and about children and about everything you want to know. She dropped a couple of bombs. I mean, this was a sensational interview, just from the point of view of what Unati said. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to you hearing it for the first time. And of course, what we want to do with these things is create a live event, because let's face it, we all have got used to screens. We've all got used to listening on various devices, but there's still nothing better than actually being around people and having that personal experience, whether you can see the body language and you can hear the tone, and you can actually take it all in when you're around somebody and you're present, right? You're actually there, which is part of the idea. So we've taken, essentially, this is the whole plan. It goes from podcast to vidcast to live event. And that's the evolution of what we're doing here. So this will be the first of what I hope will be many of these events. And we're doing it with Eugene Koza. It's a real win. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of them. All right, you're back in the studio.
Okay.
Yeah,
Update.
Hey guys, hey, how's your Friday going?
Great,
Jesus,
great. How's yours?
You have
Eventful.
you've set the comments section on fire. Looks good. Somebody said here, nothing like the Gareth Cliff show to get you to tell the whole world your own business.
Well, I don't really share any. I don't ever hold back on this show. Yeah, that's
True.
So that's currently my life. Any other questions? Cat's out of the bag now, literally. I do have a funny cat story, but you killed it. But I'll tell it some other time.
No, sorry, I wasn't that into the cat story. There was way more going on there that we needed to get into. All right, so here is John Bad Dog, who asked a question, and he asked me this question, but I'll pass it on to you because it's almost impossible to answer, and I haven't even thought about how I'm going to answer it yet. So John Bad Dog said, he gave us a would you rather. Would you rather sleep with the oldest woman on earth or the hottest trans woman?
So Madonna versus trance. Oh, this is tough.
Yeah, Madonna. I mean, listen, if it's Madonna, I'm going for Madonna. And she's not that old, as we discussed the other day, and she looks awful because of all the plastic surgery and stuff, but she's still a good-looking woman by many people's standards, and I wouldn't be that put off by Madonna. If I knew it was a trans woman, I think I'd have a much tougher time.
Sure, there's so many nuances to this, because the obvious answer is I would like to probably have coitus with a heterosexual person. That's my obvious answer. But then what if you get duped? What if you get like sort of misled? And
no, that we've covered that ground, because I said to Simphiwe, just when you were joining in this morning, I've heard stories. I don't know if it's true or not, but you hear these stories from people, and they go to Thailand, and then they think they're going home with a girl, but it turns out, ta-da, it's not, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So let's just do it this way. Let's say Caitlyn Jenner or Madonna.
Well, it'll be Madonna.
Yeah. Right.
That was a bit too easy for you, Ben. You're just
That's
like,
a little bit too easy. I mean, I don't know if that was a weak trap.
See, I'm trying to think of like the world's hottest trans woman, and I don't know.
What we need to do is put a face to the world's oldest person. Like, I know Madonna is really old and cringe, but you need to be like Judi Dench kind of old.
Okay, yeah, let's say Judi Dench.
Who else is like old and really kind of famous? Like Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren's a good one.
Quite a catch back in the 70s, wasn't she?
Well, I mean, listen, I'm not saying it would be the most exciting thing in the world, but I don't think I'd be that put off by, I mean, like Helen Mirren and Judi Dench are these famous and incredible, accomplished people. There's a whole lot more going on there than just the way they look. You know? I think there'd be bragging rights around Helen Mirren or Judi Dench. You'd be like, oh, well, you can mock me all you like, but slept with M from the James Bond movies, you know, or the Queen.
Yeah, I guess. And that's the thing. Like, if you're going to do this and everyone knows about it, you got to go, Judi Dench. If you're going to do this and nobody knows about that, and look, again, it's not my thing, but someone might go the other side of the fence. It could just be one of those things that people might find that actually like.
That's why this is a good question. That's why this is actually a really, really tough question. This is I love a really hard would you rather. The one that you have to think about all the possibilities and try to figure out what you would do.
So so like the old woman from Downton Abbey.
Oh, which one?
She's on that spectrum where she's really close to kind of snuffing it now.
Oh, you mean Maggie? What's her name? Maggie. Yeah, man. The old the dowager woman. What's her name? Maggie something. She was also McGonagall in the Harry Potter movies.
So, I mean, if you look at the comments here, Jesse asks, Caitlyn Jenner or Helen Ziller? That's...
Ooh. That's a tough one. I think I'm going to go with Helen Ziller, huh?
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Helen Ziller. I think I'm dealing with Caitlyn Jenner is playing golf.
But you see, the thing we've learned here is that it's all about the actual people, right? How about Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma versus Caitlyn Jenner? Oof. It's tough. That is very tough. I've got to say, I'm still rather going to go with the woman. I'm going to go with NDZ. I really and truly, I don't think I would find any of these options that have been given to us so far pleasant, but I've got to go with it. I got to go with the woman. This is a no-brainer. I'm throwing my sausage down a corridor before stuffing it into starfish, if you know what I mean, says Carl. Very beautiful use of language by Carl. Yeah, that's magnificent. Producer Ryan wants to know, what is Simphiwe doing in this situation?
That question was not directed at me. I'm just listening. So? I'm just listening.
You don't think so, Simphiwe? It's not direct. Maggie Smith, that's her name. Yeah, Dame Maggie Smith. Shame. All right. Here's a good one, Ben. Last one for this morning, because it's 7:00 now. Slippery Pickle wants to know, would you rather go with Bradley Manning? Bradley Manning is the trans woman who sold U.S. state secrets to Russia, I think. And then Jacinda Ardern. Let me find you a picture of Bradley Manning so you know. This is important. We got to do this properly. We take everything seriously on this show.
Yeah, but like now you're bringing a horse in, and that changes it again. Can we just stick to one sort of metric, please?
Yeah, Bradley Manning is now called Chelsea Manning. Okay, so let's not dead name him, but here we are. I'll show you a picture of Bradley or Chelsea Manning, and you could decide, because you know what Jacinda Ardern looks like, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. The big reveal. Here is what Chelsea Manning, trans woman, looks like, and then you choose between this and Jacinda the Donkey Ardern, former Prime Minister of New Zealand. Okay, there's Chelsea Manning. Have a look. What do you say, Ben? What's it going to be?
I'm pretty sure we need to go to a break. 7:00.
I'm gonna put my cock on the block. I'm gonna say it's Jacinda Ardern. Got to go with Jacinda. And no comment from Ben. He's refusing to partake in this last question. All right, let's take a quick break. We will be back with some more in just a moment. The Gareth Cliff Show, cliffcentral.com. Friday morning. It's the weekend, baby.
It's the decade that just won't go away, mainly because we won't let it. It's That 80s Show, the show that taste forgot. Every Friday, Paolo and Dory remember the 80s. Movies, music, fashion, wham, beachies, and the half. If it was acceptable in the 80s, it will get you cancelled today. That 80s Show. New episode every Friday, live or as a podcast on cliffcentral.com.
Next in the AutoTrader podcast.
So what are you choosing? I think really the ultimate thing to say there is it just depends on like what is your situation. But hybrids from the entry point of view in terms of the capital is always going to be...
Well, I think the plug-in hybrid is kind of a sensible route to go if you're not entirely convinced. Go for a plug-in hybrid because you can use the electric drivetrain of the car only to do things like going to the shop, school runs. And if you've got a long distance travel, the internal combustion engine vehicle, or should I say engine, kicks in. Catch us every Monday at 9 a.m. on YouTube and on autotrader.co.za.
That's right. And Borge will be joining us this morning just before 8 o'clock as well. We got Simphiwe here. We got Ben. It seems like a crazy start to the morning for Ben. Car keys and house keys and God knows what else, cats, formerly ex-girlfriends, now life partners. There's a lot of things going on in the world on this Friday morning. It's a lot happening. And Congo Chris has some comments here, Ben, which maybe you want to take seriously. He says, I'm concerned about your lack of focus this morning, Ben. New things are exciting, but you need to keep a level head. Love is as addictive as heroin, twice as intoxicating. Very disappointed in you.
I absolutely agree. You're totally right. Just one of those mornings, really. I think everything else is in check, Congo Chris. You do realize I'm quite a disciplined person. I don't do too many things on bad decisions or bad intel. I think as of right now, 7:07, you'll see that I'm my normal self. Totally fine.
All right. Simphiwe, we've got some feedback for you. During the break, we sometimes play music, and it's this library music that we play, which is... It's horrible mostly. I mean, I don't know where you guys find it, but someone thought that maybe you were singing in the music again this morning because there's this woman in the song that and someone thought that was you.
That ain't me, okay? I be sounding like Adele mixed with Alicia Keys when I sing. Like, don't insult me like that, okay, honey? I can harmonize, I can hit the high notes and the low notes, Don't try me.
All right. So you actually did have an agenda this morning, Ben. There were some things you wanted to talk about, and maybe we got to get to some of those. There's some reality TV show that you found that you actually care about, which is surprising to me because I've yet to find a reality TV show.
Is dropping bombshell after bombshell after bombshell. Like
Busy
enter
morning.
reality show.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned the Physical 100. It's that Korean show where they take 100 different bodies and they try to find out which is the perfect body when it comes to being physically superior.
Oh, wow.
We didn't really go through it that much, but then I finished it last night and it was making me think how, reality TV is mostly shit and it's negative and it's very emotional and just very dramatic. But this show had so much excellence that was strapped to it. And it was so interesting how I think reality TV, if used like this, can actually be really good. So it starts off with 100 people if you haven't seen it. There's not too many spoilers here. Obviously, somebody wins. And they have women. And naturally, this is the only spoiler, the women don't win. Because as much as we want to be very inclusive, and this is no slight towards the women folk, but men are stronger, more capable, and physically superior. That's not even a controversial thing to say. And the show is like, we want to find who the best person is, no matter the race, gender, blah, blah, blah.
What are the criteria? Is it strength?
Well, it's everything. So you've got like really big power lifters all the way through to gymnasts, Winter Olympians, cyclists, MMA fighters. It's really interesting because it's such a cross section. And there's 100 incredibly well-built Korean people. I think like 20 of them are women to start, but the women kind of get sorted out.
I know this sounds terribly stereotypical, but I have to say I'm one of those people who, when I think of physical strength and vitality, I don't think of South Koreans.
Either do I, but you should see this show, Gareth. These people are absolute specimens. We got tall, short, bulky, athletic. Then you've got like the sort of more Instagram ripped, which obviously comes with steroids. It is so interesting how the show itself is quite labored, and when you listen to the English translations, it's really lame because they just repeat each other, and they always they go, "Oh, that's so crazy! Wow, this is crazy! Look at that! That is crazy!" So you got to get past that a little bit, but it's just so good. And I was thinking, like, what else could be done in reality TV like this? What if you set 10 people the task of building a house, and that's how they kind of go through that? I know they got this makeover shows, but what if there was like, you have to now try and make X amount of money in a month, and these are your tools? Like The Amazing Race kind of touched on this kind of stuff, but this whole trying to always show that excellence is something to worry about. Like, I don't want to see another Housewives of some bullshit show. That's just toxic. It's just toxic. Whereas this show is like the whole human potential thing. It unlocks that. It shows you what's possible, and no one's making excuses.
I'm quite interested in like who the ultimate specimen would be, because I've often said on the show that the winner of the Olympics isn't actually a country. It's the Victor Ladorum. That's the person who gets all the medals because they've won the decathlon, which is the 10 event, the toughest thing of all at the Olympics. And that from ancient times, the Victor Ladorum is like the world's greatest athlete. That was essentially.
That was Bruce Jenner in the 70s, wasn't it?
I think so. But I mean, you have to be able to do hurdles and high jump and pole vault and running short distance and running long distance and long jump. And you kind of have to do all of those, and you have to win like at the majority of them. And then you can be called the Victor Ladorum. So I'm actually kind of interested in who would win. Is it a power lifter? Is it a swimmer? Is it a triathlete? Is it a cyclist? So have you come to the end of the show yet, or are you still in the middle of it?
No, I watched it last night. The big hour and 20-minute grand finale tells you who wins. But there's no point in me telling you this. You've got to actually understand, like, the different sort of, you get team challenges, you get individual challenges. Some are as arb as like, you got to hang on a bar for as long as you can. Other things are completely strength based. So it's just interesting how everyone's got a strength and weakness, but if you are averagely that much stronger and capable, you get through towards the end. So there was a female cheerleader. She got put in there for diversity, but she was never going to win anything or even compete in anything.
So who do you find yourself surprised made it as far as they did? I mean, was there a certain category of athlete that you didn't expect to do well that did well?
So kind of yes and no. The person that got the furthest, when you look at physiques, you wouldn't have given him a chance, was a guy that does ice climbing and mountain rescue. But then it goes back to the fact that he's able to climb, and that is like an absolute alpha strength. If you've got the ability to do pull-ups in life, you can do pretty much anything, which I've always believed in. So this dude, he looks quite skinny and gangly, but he got really, really far because he could climb and use upper body strength like no one else.
So being able to climb that's a strange skill that most people probably don't have. I mean,
Gareth, a lot of people can't even do this. A lot of people can't even raise their arms above shoulder height like this, let alone support their weight.
Jeez. Okay, so that's a real sign of strength. And is it better to be lean or to be very muscular?
So it's always that sort of balance of power to weight ratio. If you think of cars, think of like a really good car. You saw my car. There's not a lot of power in that, but it's very light. So therefore, it's very capable. So your ultimate athlete is someone who ideally probably not over 100 kilograms unless you are incredibly freakish gorilla strong, because then you've got a massive frame, which is just a waste of effort. So people want to get big for all the wrong reasons. If you want to be super strong and capable in life, always think of your power to weight ratio.
I think I might actually be interested in this show. I mean, I don't think I'll watch the whole thing.
Fast forward a lot
I'll
of it.
give it a watch.
Yeah.
It does sound interesting. The thing for me is like I love seeing people who are absolutely brilliant at what they do doing their thing, even if I couldn't care about what it is they're doing. Like, for example, I've sometimes found myself watching. I'm not a big sports viewer, you know this. I don't have to bullshit anybody, but I've sometimes found myself watching like someone who's really good at something, doing it, like the Olympics, for example, because you see like a pole vaulter, and you think that is an incredibly specialized ability. It's something that you don't encounter in daily life. I'm sure there was a time when people had to vault over rivers or whatever. But now, right. Now it's not something people do anymore. But when you see it done and you see how high these guys can go, you think, holy shit, that's actually an incredible thing. So I think I could watch this show. I think I could watch this.
And another thing is that every 4 years, people get excited about the Olympics, probably because every 4 years and the whole absence makes the heart grow fonder. But it would be great to see more of these challenges of what the physical body is capable of.
Just by the way, before you came on, Simphiwe was horrified by the fact that there are vape vending machines. She thinks this is a major problem. Do you have any feelings about vapes?
It's better than meth. It's better than heroin. Probably better than chocolates if you're going to be going to a vending machine for chocolate every day.
That's all we've got. Oh my God.
It's probably better than having a 500 mils Fanta orange.
All right. Okay. Well, Ben, you've entertained us this morning. You've even come up with a good reality TV show for us to watch. That room looks pretty cool. Are you using that for recordings?
Yeah, I'm trying to make educational content for athletes at the moment. I did my first sort of thing this week, which I was quite chuffed with. But the room itself is too small, unfortunately. I need like an extra meter.
Yeah, but you want a small room for recording, sound-wise.
Yeah, for sure, sound-wise. But like just for visuals, you need a little bit of depth, just for a bit of quality of visual. But it's getting there. Like, it's been a very good 2 weeks as well with work, as far as just like creating new things and putting the business in a different place. So yeah, it's nice. But I'm very keen to see your new space, and hopefully that'll be very soon.
We will do that. I promise you. We're going to do it soon. I did 2 shows from there this week, and then we had pretty much every day and night we had stuff on. So it wasn't a good week to do it this Friday, but we'll do it next week. Cool, Ben.
Amazing. Bye, guys.
See you later.
Bye, Ben.
All right. What a morning for him. Holy shit. Okay, let's get to Mumsy. Let me tell you who this is. He was born in Soweto, raised in Sandton. He's the original self-proclaimed coconut of the South African comedy world, so he doesn't mind that label. Normally, people would run a mile, right, Simphiwe? If someone calls you a coconut, no one's looking to be called that.
I'd be like, excuse me, who you think you're talking to, okay? Like, and then,
this guy, he does not give a shit. You could call him that. He's going to laugh right in your face. He was involved in ZA News, which we love. Do you remember Puppet Nation, ZA News?
Yes, I do.
This show earned him 2 international Emmy nominations and 4 SAFTA awards, so he's a very talented man. He was the first comedian in South Africa to make the finals the semifinals, rather, of SA's Got Talent. Oh, sorry, I got a bit of gas there. After being stuck in Russia for 2 years during COVID, Russia. See, there's lots to unpack here. He
He's
became.
lived a life and a half.
I know. He's become the 2020 champion of English comedy in Moscow, which, I mean, is not hard. There are only about like 3 comics in Moscow. The Russians are not very funny, so you don't have any competition from the local people. But let's get straight to it. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mumsy. How you, bro?
Hey,
How
what's
you?
up? Good in you.
Yeah, very good, man. So Simphiwe was horrified when I said that you sometimes refer to yourself as the self-proclaimed coconut of SA comedy. I mean, that is a controversial thing to start with. Let's just figure that out before we go anywhere else.
So I think, I mean, there's a lot of names that I was called when I was younger, and it's difficult because, like, so when you're born in Soweto and you're raised in Sandton, especially because I was born in 1985,
Sure.
you're basically living a duality every day. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
we had a combi that used to take all the kids from Soweto into Morningside to go to school, and we get there at like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, but we'd have to wake up at like 4 or 5 o'clock, and then we'd be the last to leave because you got to wait for everyone to finish their extramurals or whatever. Now the problem is that at both ends of your life, people don't think that you quite fit in. You know what I mean? Like when you're in Soweto, everyone's like, oh yeah, you think you're special now? Oh, cheers point, oh, coconut. But then you go to the other side, and it's almost as if like you don't really, you're not.
No, it's
quite
you broke the other
really-
side.
That's it. Yeah, you know what I mean.
You are broke. You
Other
you
side.
cannot afford.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like we're wearing hand-me-downs and all sorts of stuff, but I think one of the most important things that I realized is that I kept shying away from the word, and I kept trying to defend myself, which made me seem more. It actually made me more. What's the word? When you get more defensive about something, you actually don't have control over the situation. So you actually relinquish control to other people.
I mean, it's meant as a pejorative, and I hate the term. I always think, it's kind of like when someone accuses you of pretending, and you're like, I'm not. This is me. You don't have to like me, but don't accuse me of bullshitting and trying to fit in with a certain group of people. I mean, there are people who do that, sure, but no one says, you're a coconut, and means it in a friendly, nice, fun way. They probably mean it to make you feel horrible, and anyone who's doing that, their intentions shit. So you're probably not going to enjoy the moniker that they're giving you. Look, I mean, I think it's great that you owned it. It's kind of like the N-word in America. The minute that black people took the N-word and owned it and made it theirs, it became unacceptable for white people to use it, especially racists. And I think that's a good thing. So if you can do this with coconut, power to you, bro. I mean, I think it's, it's also one of those things. People have got to stop doing this. Like, all white people must behave this way. All black people must speak this way. I mean, what nonsense is this? We're in 2023. There's got to be room for everybody. If that isn't what South Africa is, then I don't know what the hell we've been fighting for.
No, 100%. I mean, for me, I think, it kind of started, it really, the whole concept of taking ownership of the term coconut actually started at school. The school that I went to was Red Hill. And I don't know if you know Coconut Kells, who's she also went to Red Hill. Yeah.
So it's a thing from you guys. You guys just own the term. You're like, what?
I mean, Simphiwe, you might remember we've had the headmaster of Red Hill on, and that is a very, very smart, very forward-thinking school. There's a lot of kind of, I would say, futuristic type thinking that they put into the curriculum, the way that people feel, the way that people are treated there. It's not like a lot of schools. I mean, it sounds to me like a really, really good place to have gone to school and to grow up.
Yeah. I mean, if you think, with regards to Red Hill, I mean, I started at Red Hill in 1988. So you can imagine this is like, apartheid hadn't even ended yet. And here you've got a school that is just literally shipping in, well, not shipping in, that's probably the wrong term to be using to people who might have bad history with ships, but actually it wasn't us, it was people. Wait, I'm gonna stop talking.
You're in school, you're enrolled, yes. Use your words.
when you're at a school that is forward thinking enough to actually give private education to black kids at
Yes.
Way before the government even realizes, you definitely know that you're onto something good. And I mean, both my teachers were parents, so that's all they really cared about was getting a good education. Hence why I got a good education. Hence why I speak well. Hence why I took ownership of the term coconut.
Let me just ask you about the speak well thing, because that's also something that irritates me. It comes from both sides, right? So if you have decent elocution in South Africa, first of all, if you're a white person and you speak reasonably well, as I hope I do, people go, oh, where did you go to school? Because they can't assume that maybe you learned that from home. So they immediately assume there's some, like, you definitely went to some very expensive private school, which in my case is not what happened. Also, they look at you and go, maybe you were overseas. Yeah, you sound like you're from London, or something like that. So that comes at you. If you're a black person, you speak English. Let's say you have a very good vocabulary. Your pronunciation is more like received pronunciation in England than it is South African. Then they say to you, oh, you either grew up with like white people, which is also, deeply kind of, it's just like assuming a lot, or that you went to X and Y school, or that there's something wrong with you speaking like that. It's just bizarre. Like, and then white people say to black people who speak like that, they go, oh, you speak so well, like it's a huge compliment. But actually it's like, well, I also have, I have all the things you have.
Yeah.
Same faculties you have. Why would you think that was a compliment? Imagine me going up to someone else and saying that. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Look, I mean, there's another side to that, because I think that if I speak to, okay, so I'll give you an example. Like when I speak to people over the phone, they actually have no idea that I'm black. And that can work in your favor sometimes. Like if trying to get a rental agreement or something like that. Back in the days, things have kind of progressed a bit now. Yes. But I remember there was a time that me and my sister Chaz were driving from Cape Town to Johannesburg. And I think we wanted to stop off, I think it was like Graaff-Reinet or something. Yeah. So I phoned ahead and I was like, hi, listen, we'd just like to book for tonight. We're driving through from Cape Town, wanted to know if we could stay over. And the lady was very lovely and she was like, oh yeah, no, we've got a room. Everything is perfect. We're going to see you now. So I was like, cool, awesome. And then she actually asked my name and I said, my name is Mamello. So Mumsy is my stage name. Mamello is my real name, right? So I tell her, my name is Mamello. You can't really confuse that. No. So now we get to Graaff-Reinet. I'm not 100% which particular Dorpy it was, but we get to the place where we'd made the booking, and we actually realized that my sister actually had enough energy to push through to the next city, and we thought let's go to the next city, but just to be polite, let's actually just, because we're here already, let's stop it and just tell her, look, we're not going to take the room. But thank you very much. Oh, nice. So we walk in. So I walk in, and she sees me and my sister, and she's like, "Oh, sorry, we don't have any rooms." And I was like, "No, I've just made a booking." And then she was like, "No, that booking was made to an Italian man."
Oh,
oh, what?
Holy shit!
And I was like, "No, wow." It was a weird situation because she legitimately could have thought I was Italian.
Yeah.
Or she could have been completely racist, right? Not completely, but like moderately enough that I can call her that, the problem is it's such a gray area now that, it's up to the individual to say, okay, cool. In a situation like that, is this a racist situation or is it like something to be proud of?
Well, again, like I don't like people who assume anything about you if you speak a certain way. I also don't like it when people assume that she could genuinely have just been ignorant. I mean, she might just be like a woman from the middle of the Karoo who doesn't know much about the world. It's entirely possible. But I suppose this is where, they say assumption is the mother of all fuck ups. So maybe that's where we start. I do love it. I do also think that it is a useful advantage in the world. In fact, Ben was talking just now about this reality show where they try to figure out what body is the best type of body to survive or to exhibit all the best qualities and strength and like shrewdness and, an ability to climb or run or whatever. And I do still think that that being able to articulate yourself well, to be able to speak any language well, but in particular English, because English is so widespread in the world, is a massive advantage. So, I mean, why wouldn't people want their children to have an education where they come out and they sound like they know what they're talking about? You know, a lot of people, that's how a lot of politicians get away with stuff, is because they could speak fast and eloquently, and they can make a good point, and they can articulate themselves properly. I don't see how that's a bad thing.
No, it isn't. I mean, like, look, I love the fact that I'm well-spoken, and even so, I mean, well-spoken even amongst other people who went to Riddle. It's not just because of the fact that I'm black and I can speak English. Like, you know, like I did public speaking. I was head boy. I think that was
all right. No need to boast. We didn't need to get into like your.
I also caught that, Gareth. I was like, look at this one. Oh yeah, head boy. Public speaking. What else can't you do, sir?
No, you know what? It's an honor for me to be with Gareth. So I just definitely want to take this opportunity to let like everybody out there know.
Put some respect on my name. You know, you might just hear Mamelo, but.
You know what I look forward to is I look forward to the day where we aren't, because obviously our history in South Africa is just so complicated and so fraught with reasons for us to be divided and all that shit. I mean, that's why, you know, what happened in 94 was so miraculous to the rest of the world, because they looked at us and went, oh, these guys are definitely going to go the wrong way. I hope we get to a point where when you phone somebody, they're not thinking like, is this a black or a white person? And they can't tell. And then when they see you, they're not horrified and they're not surprised, and they're also not patronizing and like, oh my God, it's so wonderful that you're black and you talk like that. I hope we get to that point soon, because I just think it should matter way less than it does to a lot of people anywhere, not just in South Africa.
So I think what's interesting about that is that I think one, knowing English very well really boded well for me while I was in Russia, because it actually allowed for me. I mean,
hold on, just hold that thought for a second. Like, first of all, why were you in Russia, and why were you trapped? Why were you trapped there for COVID? Are you like related to Didi Mabuza or something? Because he's our former deputy president. He went over there for like medical treatment, and we didn't know where he was for a couple of months. So what did you find yourself in Moscow for?
So I've never really had any. I've always wanted to go to Russia, but I've never really had like the motivation or actually like, you know, set aside any financial resources to go there. And so my oldest brother is Fana Mokwena. I don't know if you know him from the EFF World War Z.
Of course. Oh my God, he's your brother?
Yeah, he's my oldest brother.
This resume just keeps getting longer and longer, and it's just like, who?
My brother's not part of my resume.
You can name drop him and be like, you know him.
When you said Fana Mokwena, I'm like, oh, Jesus, this is impressive. This is a good family. Wow, holy shit. Like, is your dad also the deputy president? I mean, this is what we're getting to.
No. My aunt is the premier of the Free State, but that's a different conversation altogether.
How's this? What is this family of yours? It's amazing. All right, so your brother, and then how does that lead to Russia?
Yeah, so he'd actually gone to Russia quite a few times, and he kept, every time he was in Cape Town and he was visiting me, he was always raving on about like Moscow being amazing. Now, before I actually went, I kind of like, you know, most people of color, if you go overseas or you think about going to another country, the first thing you kind of search is like, how racist is that country, right? Which is kind of sad, right?
Yeah, sure, but you have to do it.
Yeah, you have to do it, you know? And the problem with the internet is that's the internet. I mean, Google's going to spit out whatever someone posted or however well someone does their SEO. But I always had the back of my head that, okay, cool. Like, okay, if my brother really likes this place, if I get an opportunity, I'll go. I was I just come back from a holiday in Germany, and I was in Cape Town literally to come back. And while I was back, I met this interesting Russian girl, and we kind of hit it off. We were at a music festival called Wolf Corp. We hit it off, and I think 2 months later, she was supposed to leave to go back to Russia. And she convinced me to kind of like sell my bike, come visit her, and you know, do the whole, you know, just do 3 months in Russia, because at that time we didn't need a visa. But then when I got there, they closed the borders. I think it was about a month into being in Russia, they closed the borders. And it became a very real situation because now it's like, I think I had, to be honest, I'm very comfortable telling this to people. I probably had a month of serious like depression, not clinical depression, but like hardly anyone speaks English.
Hang on a second. Let me tell you something. I would shit myself if I knew I was locked down in a foreign country where no one speaks the language, as you point out, where it gets unbelievably cold in winter, where you are with, first of all, you're with this girl. Now, whether or not you guys lasted long, lockdown put a huge amount of pressure on every relationship. And now you look at this and you're probably in like some small apartment, right? I mean, Moscow, it's not like people have big suburban houses. And you've already got like communication issues because she's Russian. So you don't know how long the lockdown's going to last. I mean, I would have been nervous as hell if I knew I was trapped there for that. Well, how did you even cope with that? You talk about a month of depression. I'm surprised it didn't put you in a perpetual depression.
Yeah, it's, I mean, you know, it was, I don't know how to properly address this, but she's very well known in Russia. So she was quite well off.
Okay.
So we weren't, you know, she was kind of like fitting the bill for a lot of the time.
Right.
And
that's a bit of a sweetener. I like this. This is making it slightly more bearable.
Yeah, but then you kind of feel like, I mean, like if when you're a kept man, technically speaking, you are in like a gilded cage. You're almost like in this palatial prison. You know what I mean? You get to we went to oligarchs' houses and parties. We were on yachts and all this stuff. But there was a level of control that she had, which took away the shininess of all the things that were shiny. Do you know what I mean?
I'm going to guess 4.5 months maximum. And then 7. You were, okay. So I gave you too little credit. But so you needed to get out of there. And then what? You could leave by then, or were you still trapped in Russia?
So it was, that's actually a good question. So the South African government was trying to sort out repatriation flights, which is very difficult to negotiate with Russia. Because the thing with Russia is that Putin actually, it's crazy, but Putin decrees everything. It's insane how close his relationship is with every citizen in the country, because everything is based on his decree.
And they love him. Young people in Russia, this is something people outside of Russia don't understand. He has given them a sense of pride in Russia. Now, I'm no Putin fan. Let me put that out there right up front. But when you've been in Russia and when you've spoken to Russian people, they don't hate him. They don't see him as some kind of evil dictator. They actually look at him as the man who's restored pride in Russia, you know, after the embarrassing years of Yeltsin and the failure of the Soviet Union. They give him something to believe in. And there are a lot of young people in Russia who are very pro-Putin, right?
100%. Yeah. I mean, you know, it just depends on which circles that you kind of roll with, because the majority of Russians are in favor of Putin, but majority of Russians don't live in Moscow, St. Petersburg, Sochi. They're kind of better off, better educated. Okay, I don't want to say better educated. It's kind of like, but it is the truth.
It's urban. It's like in America, most of the cities are Democrat and most of the countryside is Republican. And even in red states, the big cities are blue. There is a difference between people who live in cities and people who live in the country.
Yeah, 100%. And it was actually interesting having those conversations, because I think, for me, one of the best things about actually getting to Russia, and also how it ties into earlier what you were talking about with regards to, wouldn't it be nice if we were in a world where we wouldn't have to think about race? Yeah. So historically, if you look at Russia historically, Russia never really actually had any bad history with black people.
No,
they were never really involved in slavery.
They don't know black people at all. I mean, there was a famous black man who was at the court of Peter the Great, who became a nobleman, and he was essentially from where Ghana is today. But that's like in the 1700s, right?
Yes. So he was the great grandfather. I love that you know that piece of information, because now the addition is going to be even better. So he was the great. His name is Ganibal, and he was the great grandfather of the modern day father of Russian literature, which is Alexander Pushkin. So when
That's
anyone
right.
hears the name Alexander Pushkin, Pushkin vodka, Count Pushkin, Alexander Pushkin, he was also nobility. But what was really great about that is that he was a person of color. Do you know what I mean? And not only was Ganabal nobility, his great grandfather, not only was he nobility, but he actually became the general in chief of the Russian army as a person of color. So
and that was in the 1700s. So no one had abolished slavery yet. There was, this was still in the height of like post-Enlightenment Europe. They were just getting to grips with things. In a very interesting story. Yeah, I'm glad that you know this too. This is awesome stuff. I love when people study the history. So, in other words, Russia doesn't have a history of being shitty about black people or people of color. But I've heard they're still, because I don't see a lot of black people there, they're still a little bit freaked out by it.
Yeah, so it's like imagine. This is how I kind of saw it. Like when I was having conversations with people, or when people approached me about conversations with race, because I'm very visibly black, so there was no need for me to go up to people and have these conversations. What I noticed was that it was more out of like 70% of it was out of intrigue. Because, a few of them were like, in school, we were taught this about Africa, and I just wanted to ask a few questions. And some of those questions I could have taken very offensively. I mean, the one person, I can't remember the exact wording, but it was a highly offensive question based on something he'd learned from school, right? And I almost took it very, very personal. I actually had to like take a breather and like walk away. I had a Russian friend with me who was kind of like, no, dude, he wasn't being offensive. This is what we were actually taught at school, right? But then you get 30% of people who, I noticed this when I first went to Red Hill, and when you first start venturing into areas in Sandton or whatever, and people see you for the first time, there's that initial I don't know how to deal with you factor, which I think if people can guide someone in that period, that is the in Twilight, or these vampire movies, or where there's always that one moment where they could go evil or good. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That is that moment. You know what I mean? So if a country, or if a person, or if a community, or if a friend, or if someone catches you at that, I really don't know how to deal with this moment, it's the difference between that person changing into a direction that could make them maybe not really sensitive to an issue, or actually just become an absolute complete dick.
So how did you get out of Russia?
So so when I left the girl that I was with, Anna, it was basically quite a hectic life to walk away from, because I mean she was very well known in Russia. She was on TV shows and all of that, and historically, I don't know if I could mention it, but it's at this point, I don't know if there's any Russians watching or whatever.
Go on. Go on, tell us. Don't hold back. We want to know.
If not here, we're not. Okay, so the girl that I was actually dating, her name was Anna Chapman. Anna Chapman was she was arrested, I think, in 2010 in America, and she pled guilty to espionage. So she actually was arrested as a spy in 2010. And by the time we'd met, she'd become like a media personality, all sorts of stuff.
She's a Russian intelligence agent, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. So technically, I don't know how much I can say. Technically speaking, she didn't write that Wikipedia page. That Wikipedia page was written by the FBI. They write that to make sure that everyone knows that she is.
This is a very attractive woman. That let me just show everybody a picture of her. This is a very good-looking woman.
Ooh,
holy,
with the red hair and all. Okay.
Well done to you. Holy shit! I mean, like I am. Mamma mia, this is good. Fucking hell, Mumsy, you got to teach me some tricks, man.
No.
Wow, and she's a Russian. So she knows, I mean, she could tell you some stories. I would have been very careful to not step on her toes either. She probably knew some dangerous people, right?
I can't confirm nor deny that, but she's very well known. She's very well known, and I mean it was a very good relationship. But I think there was a lot that I was dealing with. It was a very complicated situation, and I also just wanted like a level of I wanted to experience Russia properly.
Well, you did
in my own way and kind of like travel and explore.
You experienced Russia.
Yeah.
You were embedded. Wow, dude, what a story. I mean, I thought we were going to have, because I thought we were going to have a conversation, talk about comedy and like South Africa. Look at this. I mean, Simphiwe, what more? First of all, Ben dropped some bombshells on us this morning. Now we've got this. I mean, this is just unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it was. Well, I mean, look. Long story short,
how old are you now?
Am I?
How old are you now?
I'm 37.
37. Sure. You look young for 37, but Jesus, you've had experiences. So I'm still curious. Like, did the South African government get you out, or did you manage to just get some commercial flight and leave? And also, did you tell her you were leaving, or did you just make a run for it?
No. We communication. Russians are very good with communication. In general, Russians are actually very, very amazing people. Like, they're very much like Africans. They battle between the challenge of like a superstition versus modern religions. They battle with the history.
They're very direct people, right? I mean, they don't beat around the bush. There's no like gilding the lily. They don't say, "Oh, I want to talk to you about something. Let's have a conversation." They're like, "I no longer want to be with you. It's over."
Yeah. And I think the reality of the situation is that I didn't actually. I think by the time I'd broken up with her, there were repatriation flights back to South Africa. But I actually built a life. So I'd gotten some clients. I started performing at the open mic comedy shows, and I actually started to get some traction. So in the end, I actually made a decision. It was a very difficult decision to make because I actually have a biological daughter and a adopted daughter, but they're both sisters, same mother. So that was the longest time period that I was actually away from my kids. But the one
wait a second. Kid schmids, because we'll get to those. I'm fascinated by the idea that you could do English comedy in Russia, because I've also another stereotype about Russian people. We started talking about stereotypes and the way people speak. One of the stereotypes I've heard about Russians is that they do not have a sense of humor. And I know Russian people. And one of my friends, I call him Alex the Russian. He's hilarious, but the things he finds funny are dark, and like most people would be disturbed by the shit he finds funny. Yeah. And the rest of the time he's straight-faced. I mean, the guy does not, you would think he was the most miserable person in the world, but he's got a great sense of humor. It takes a long time to figure that out with Russians. How did they respond to you?
It was a good response. I mean, look, I'm not gonna say that becoming champion of comedy was based because I was the funniest. I'm pretty funny, but when it came to my use of the English language and how I integrated into their culture, that for them was like a real wow factor. It's like, I didn't just go there and just do material I've been doing in South Africa. I actually learned about Russian culture. I learned about babushkas. I learned how to speak the language. I integrated bits and pieces. I even did I did a comedy set in Russian. I did a 2-minute set in actual Russian. So I think that the appreciation was more that this dude came here and he's trying.
Jesus, you could also speak Russian. I mean, you were immersed in there for like a couple of months, so you'd had to learn something. But you must be very talented at communication in general.
Yeah, I mean, but there's a few tricks that you can use. The set that I actually did, what I did was I pre-recorded myself saying it, and with technology, I had the Bluetooth set in my head, and then I just pasted it, and I had to predict where I thought there would be laughs so that I could hear what I'm saying if they were laughing.
Oh, it's like
that's amazing.
Like a science experiment. I'm blown away.
Yeah. But I mean, people find these. I mean, those are the things that really. I can't remember what Nelson Mandela's quote was, and I think everyone just throws them around left, right, and center. But when you do actually make an effort to like learn someone's language or their culture, something inside them connects with you in a very, very. It's always unique. It's not like this. It's a similar type of uniqueness. It's always unique and it's always very special.
Listen, this is too much for me to take in for one morning. I'm gonna have to.
It's
we're
like
gonna
a
have to get
truth
you.
bomb Friday, Gareth.
Yeah, but I mean, you really have some unbelievable stories, and I don't think we've even scratched the surface. I got to get you back in here. We must do this again. We'll organize it, all right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for having me on the show. Like, I'm a huge fan. Simphiwe, you're awesome, guys. This has been lovely.
What a great guy. I mean, like, what an interesting human being to talk to. Mapelo, what a pleasure. Nice to see you, dude.
Thank you.
Mumsy, everybody. Hey, you doing any shows people can come to?
I'm actually working on setting up. Okay, so the Sanson Comedy Club, which I founded, we have shows. I'm not 100% sure when the next one will be, but if they follow Sanson Comedy Club, they can find out. Easiest thing is just to follow Mum's Comedy, MUMZ Comedy, and people can find out about my next shows. I just finished doing my I had a show called First World Broke, which I just did 2 shows in Joburg and 3 in Cape Town. I'm hoping to go to Durban soon, but I do want to go back to Joburg again. The material was half baked, and now it's getting it's getting to that right temperature. So I want to be back.
All right. So follow him at Mum's Comedy, MUMZ Comedy, and he's on all the social media. Good to have you on, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Gareth. Thank you so much. Thanks, Simphiwe.
Wow. All right. How's that? Simphiwe? Busy
Wow.
morning.
Yes,
And
I'm loving this. Sure.
It's great. This is good. Friday's tour de force today. George Mienie, where the hell are you, George? Where are you?
I am at the E-Fest in Cape Town, Gareth. How are you, Simphiwe? How's it, Gareth?
Looks very good. Are you there at the Silo Hotel? Is that where you are?
I am. Can you see those silos?
I knew
it's
I
gorgeous.
That's magnificent.
That's beautiful.
Have you been
Apparently
to that? You've been to that Zeiss gallery in there? Magnificent.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I haven't been in there yet. I'm going to go and have a look.
Nice, George. Look at you, hobnobbing with all the people at the E-Prix. So what is an E-Prix, George? Tell us about this.
Yeah, so the E-Prix is the inaugural South African. I mean, E-Grand Prix has been around for a long time, but it's the first time that the race is actually in South Africa in Cape Town. And it's happening around here, around Sea Point, Greenpoint Stadium. They're blocking off roads, it's starting to get hectic. We're at the media briefing this morning, which is kind of the launch of the whole thing. I'm about to address the journalists this morning, and so at the same time launching our hybrid car survey, which I told you about last week.
I knew there would be an angle here because AutoTrader, you guys are on top of all these stories, and this is the first time this has ever happened in South Africa, right?
That's correct, and it's actually set to be here for the next 10 years.
Wow.
In Cape Town in South Africa. So give me some stats, Gareth. So 2.13 billion rands worth of direct and indirect economic impact is being generated by this event. So 2.13 billion, including 481 million rands worth of global destination exposure. So there's a lot of economic value coming because of this race.
That sounds good. We shouldn't complain about that. We should be encouraging it. So the people of Cape Town are obviously excited about it. In fact, my aunt who lives in Cape Town even told me that it was happening. So if she knew, then I guess a lot of people know, because she's not really like a Formula One or a racing car enthusiast. So it must be an exciting atmosphere there. Do you think the whole city's going to get out and watch?
I think most of the city is going to get out and watch. I mean, the number of people that have kind of tried to get tickets, and I actually think the race day tickets are no longer available. I don't think they're full because the race is happening tomorrow. But there's a lot of people that are excited about this. There's activity here from like 5 o'clock this morning. It is unbelievable. I mean, you can see you can see that side. The electric cars are parked. Behind me, there's a Volvo. And so they're sitting up nicely to try and get South Africa to be part of the world's effort for a sustainable future, which leads me into my next story, which is the EU has finally approved across 27 countries the ban of fossil fuel, the manufacture of fossil fuel cars by 2035. It's now legally in the lawmakers' books.
Oh.
Just by the way, with those cars,
I don't know.
I'm sorry to go away from EU legislation, but it's not my favorite subject for a Friday morning. Any of those cars behind you, because you're an electric car enthusiast, are there any of those that are really sexy that you haven't seen before, or are these all cars that you know and you're familiar with?
All of them I've seen or been in. I think the Volvo's nice, the BMW's nice. For me, the Audi e-tron is probably one of the nicer ones, and then coupled with that, the BMW. I think you've driven it, Gareth. The iX50 and the iX40, which I think are the most space futuristic style of EVs. But I've been in all of the ones that are here so far.
Congo Chris says, I won't be going, Borge. The tickets are a bit pricey, but I'm going next year, no doubt. Is it expensive to go and watch this?
Yeah, it's a couple of $1,000 for a ticket, depending on where you want to sit. If you want cheap seats or the more expensive seats, but it's here for the next 10 years. So if you feel the urge, plan for next year. Apparently, 30 odd % of the bookings that were made for accommodation from external travelers or visitors to South Africa were made 3 months ago already.
Sure, so people are not playing around.
These cars are quiet, right? I mean, they're not going to be making the noise that a Formula One race would make.
Correct. Yeah. So I mean, you're going to hear other sounds like the zinging of the engines as they spin up the zinging of the electric motors, or what we'll hear is the tires. I mean, believe it or not, when a car's hurtling down the road or around a corner, the tires are actually making a scratching sound that gets masked by the exhaust noise of regular cars. So you're going to hear those sorts of sounds. So I think it's still going to be noisy, but it's just going to be other noises.
Damn, very cool. Simphiwe, would you go to this?
Yes. So I think it was a week ago, I got to experience what it's like being in an electric car. That thing was quiet and it was fast. So I'm definitely like, sign me up. I'm not sure if I want to spend a couple of thousands on a ticket, but sign me up.
Wow. All right.
Well, I think this is brilliant for the South African economy, and I'm so glad that it's been committed to for 10 years, because it's going to bring so much to the economy, I think, in terms of external investment, people coming here, actually seeing what Cape Town is like, maybe even investing, buying property. I mean, I think there's a whole lot of benefits down the line.
All right. Well, Borge, anything else you want to throw in before you take in all the sights and sounds of beautiful Cape Town and make us all jealous with the Silo Hotel in the background? And E-Prix on the way. I mean, we're Simphiwe and I basically dying here. We thought we had good lives until this morning.
Well, I mean, Gareth, I'm very fortunate and humbled to be here. So I'm so glad that I do what I do, because I get to see things like this. But I don't want to end on a downer, but the Wyoming, the States of America. I don't know if you know Wyoming, the States of America. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it. It's one of the smallest states.
It's not one of those places that people put on their list of, you've got to go to Wyoming. It's phenomenal.
Exactly. Now, Wyoming makes up about 0.17% of the US population and is one of the smallest states. But the one big thing about Wyoming is they're an oil state. So they produce a lot of the oil. They're 8th largest oil producer in the US.
Wow. They
have just passed a law banning the sales of electric cars by 2035.
So they're going opposite to everyone else. Everyone else is trying to make electric cars the rule, and Wyoming's like, nah, we're going to ban these pieces of shit. We need to stay with our internal combustion engines.
Exactly. So whichever side of the fence you decide to sit, electric cars, fossil fuel cars. I mean, cars are cars, and at the end of the day, the long story is that it takes about 8 years for an electric car to become equivalent to a fossil fuel car in terms of environmental impact. So the environmental impact takes about 7 or 8 years before it's equal. But the benefit for me is not only the environmental impact. The benefit for me is that it's just better and simpler technology. That's the reason I drive an electric car. So whichever side of the fence you sit, there's going to be a state or a country that you can go stay. And if you want to still drive fossil fuel cars, go to Wyoming.
Right. Okay. I mean, it's not really on my agenda, but at least we know there's that option. All right, George, good to see you, and thank you for being with us this morning, and enjoy the rest of the E-Prix.
One more thing. To
Simphiwe.
all the listeners, I saw this on my social media that AutoTrader is running a competition, like #win any car. So I've entered, and if anybody else wins, can we just talk about the prize? Can we just negotiate the prize? I'm just putting it out there, okay?
Well, yeah. I mean, our Win Any Car competition we run every single year, and this year is no different. What happens is you have to take an image of yourself and your current car, and then tell us about your favorite car, and then you stand a chance to win a pile of cash towards your next car bought off AutoTrader. So it's been very successful over the last couple of years, and we're running it again this year.
I'm just saying, George, I entered. I entered, okay? So help the sister out.
Simphiwe, you know what? People. Go on.
You can win any car?
Yes, any car on AutoTrader sites. You can win any car. Well, I mean, we give you cash towards the car. So if you choose a Ferrari, we're not going to go and buy you a Ferrari.
Okay. Well, I'm still thinking it might be fun.
I think it's 250,000 rand. If I'm not, if I stand to correction.
I'll take it. Thank you. I'm in as well. I'm going to join up. All right. Thank you, George. Thank you, Simphiwe. We will see everybody on Monday morning, bright and early at 6 a.m. Have an awesome weekend. Bye-bye.